So you probably want to know more about the existing caravan since I haven't put the other one together yet. Well, today is the longest day of the year in June. It's hot, so obviously I'm not wearing much. I noticed on my last video it was a bit windy, so I went and parked in the forest to get a mostly wind-free video. Don't like those muffling sounds. So this is an ALH code engine. So it has a mechanical and hybrid electronic fuel pump. It's drive-by-wire throttle pedal, so there's no throttle cable. This looks a little bit Mickey Mouse because last week my fuel filter clogged up. And so redneck solution on the side of the road, threw a Ford filter on. And until my new ordered online filter comes in, I'm going to be driving like that, so it's working fine. This engine has had the EGR delete, which is a good thing. That's why it's got this little pipe there. That always clogs up the intake manifold. Some very interesting things. This is the original VW motor mount. And there's an adapter I made to make it work on Chrysler that just bolts on with 2 bolts. I had to drop the motor down 3 inches, but the VW motor mount, the crazy thing is, it actually bolted right up to the Chrysler motor mount. I didn't have to change anything. It fits. There's a similar looking motor mount on the other side underneath the battery box, and it bolted right up also. Crazy. It's got a little bit less complicated adapter. All it's got is just a 3-inch spacer and some longer bolts. The thing everybody wonders about is how you would switch front-wheel drive engines in a vehicle, make them work in the wrong vehicle, is you have to make custom axles. Well, I did that 20 years ago with my other van, and they're still working. It's just half a Chrysler axle, half a Volkswagen axle welded together, and a coupler machined on a lathe that the axles slip into and are welded to. Same thing with this one, no different. It was very tricky getting the electronics from the Volkswagen to fit in, and with lengths and everything, and where to tuck it and where to put it, and get all the ECU and all that stuff wired into a Chrysler and work off a Chrysler key. I didn't have any instructions. I made this van 5 years ago like this. I didn't find anything online or YouTube at that time how to switch things over and convert a wiring harness. There is some videos on that now. So it took me 9.5 hours to take apart the whole wiring harness and deconstruct it. I didn't use the automatic glow plugs. I have a manual button there. Here the relay. Fuel gauge is hooked up and working, but as of yet I haven't done anything about the speedometer and tach. That's just a future project. I haven't had any problems with it overheating. So I've got a boost gauge temporarily installed just down by my shifter since I didn't see a good place to accommodate one in my dash. It was very tricky to try to get that hydraulic clutch system fit between my vacuum brake booster and my shock tower. There's the vacuum brake booster, there's the shock tower. There's only a tiny bit of space, so there's only one exact spot that you can fit that hydraulic master cylinder for the clutch. Other than that, everything's pretty much Volkswagen under the hood, and everything else is Chrysler everywhere else. I'm sure this van will last me forever too, but because I had the opportunity to buy that black Jetta cheap for a good running Jetta, I decided, well, might as well build the third van even though I don't need it yet.